G'day folks, what is going on? It's Jacob. Recently I put out an email to my list and asked people what's the biggest bottleneck. And the answer typically doesn't surprise me too much. Usually people come back and say that traffic, lead generation, getting leads, getting DMs, getting calls, whatever it may be, traffic and lead volume is typically what they at least feel is the biggest bottleneck. Okay, now, in some cases, this is true, and in some cases, this is false. In a lot of cases, people may not actually need more leads. They may need a better middle and bottom of funnel system in order to be able to actually convert that attention. There's a big myth out there that you need a lot of lead flow and a big audience in order to make millions of dollars, right? Now, my audience, even to this day, isn't that big, and yet I've been able to extract over $7 million in information product sales. Okay. But with that said, there are definitely cases where you do need more lead flow and you do need more lead volume. And even if you don't today, it's a very, very good idea to have systems in place that bring you leads 24/7 without you really needing to do too much. Okay. And so what I wanted to cover off in this video is what are the main funnels that we use inside the lifestyle business operating system, which I've been talking more and more about over the last few videos in order to achieve this, in order to generate leads, generate traffic, but above all else, and most importantly, do it without us needing to really, really crank the handle. Okay. So what I want to cover in this is a couple of things. One, I just want to do a quick recap of the overall model and explain where these funnels sit relative to the overall model, just because without the context, it's not as helpful as it could be. Share with you the two funnels that I'm using right now and that I recommend my clients implement. And then three, I want to show you how, even though this kind of feels like two different pathways, it can actually really just be one. Okay. That may not make 100% sense, but it will when we get there. Okay. So this is the lifestyle business operating system. So this is for coaches, consultants, mentors, course creators, people with businesses where you ultimately want to sell, monetize your expertise, and you want to do it in a really lean and efficient way, with one of the major features being that we don't actually have to do sales calls. Okay, now the entire thing is built around having one core offering. Okay, in my IP business or my intellectual property business, this is my lifestyle business academy, and that may be whatever it looks like in your business. All right, and so this is the flow. There's really four phases. We've got our top of funnel, our middle of funnel, our bottom of funnel, and our post funnel. Our top of funnel, and this is really relevant to what we're talking about today, this is where we're generating new attention, new traffic, and we're focusing on width. We're focusing on more people knowing who we are every single day. We're not too concerned with depth yet. That happens once we move into the middle of funnel. Okay, this is where we nurture our traffic. This is where we warm up our traffic, and this is where we do focus on building depth of relationship with our leads that we've generated from the top of the funnel. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today, the funnels that we're going to have a look at today, ultimately feed the middle of funnel. Okay, then different strategies and tactics kick in from there. And then ultimately, all those, or a percentage of those people, flow into the bottom of the funnel. This is our hottest traffic. This is where we ultimately convert people into our main offering. Then they become clients. We onboard and deliver. We put systems in place in order to make this a really streamlined process, make it a good experience. And then all going well, clients get results and they compound. Okay. And that's how the entire system feeds back on itself. Okay. So just to paint the full picture, what we're really talking about in this video here is this piece. Okay. So there's different ways that we can feed these funnels, and we'll talk about this. We've got paid media. We've got organic content, we've got your personal brand, these types of things. And then we've got these two extra elements down here, WOM and OPP, word of mouth and other people's platforms. Okay, word of mouth is really where the system feeds back on itself. And that's that could either be incentivized word of mouth in terms of like an affiliate program or something like that. Something I can help you with. I've done over 7 figures with an affiliate offer. And other people's platforms, on word of mouth, it could also be not incentivized. So it's just people talking about you because they love you, right? Which is great too. And then OPP is where you might go on someone else's podcast. You might go on their YouTube channel, you might go into their school community, Facebook group, whatever, right? It's essentially getting your story, a training, an asset, even speaking on someone's stage. You're getting in front of your audience that somebody else has essentially assembled, and then that traffic overflows to you. Okay. So there's lots of different ways from a tactical perspective that we can actually get in front of people. But if we get in front of those people and then there's nowhere for them to go, they're not going to actually become leads in our world, right? And this is where the majority of the heavy lifting is done, is in the middle of funnel. And so these two pieces become really, really critical, because they're what actually will determine if we capture the information of the people that hear about us, find us, see an ad, see a piece of content. If we don't have these in place, we're just going to bleed out on all that attention, and we're not actually going to get the opportunity to convert it either in that moment or over the coming week, 30, 60, 90 plus days. Okay. So these are the two funnels that sit here at the time that we're filming this, right? So this is the first one. This is the first one here. This is a low ticket funnel. Okay, so this is an example of a low ticket funnel in my business. This is a template. So I give people a template so that they can sell their 4 or 5 figure offer without sales calls. I also include a training, obviously, on how to populate it. And I also include my $7 million content system as a bonus so that they can actually go and create content that warms up their leads, generates leads, and then they've got someone to put the document in front of. So it's a really, really nice low ticket package. And you can see they come in here, click this button, and it's $50. Okay. Then from there, we've got $27 upsells. I've done a video doing a deeper dive on this whole funnel. You can find it. You can find it on the channel. But this one's really powerful because you're getting a higher intent person to join your world, right? Leads are great, and we'll talk about leads in a second, and it's something that we want to put time and energy into. But buyers are going to be way more powerful to fill your list with, because they've already proven that they're prepared to spend money. They're already prepared to get some skin in the game in order to solve whatever problem it is that they're ultimately trying to solve. Okay. Now, if you're going to go about building one of these funnels, make sure that it is very, very congruent to whatever your main offering is. If your main offering out here is about, losing weight using a very, very particular method, make sure that the low ticket offer is very relevant to either that goal, the problem, or the method itself. Okay, you don't want to take people off on some completely different tangent through your low ticket offer and then have to try and bring them way back to move them into your core offering, right? The reason that I start with a low ticket offer here that's a template to help people get clients without calls is because it's really the first step that I work on when I help people install this lifestyle business operating system. Because without this offer, really, nothing else kind of matters. Everything feeds there, and so we knock that over straight away. And so you can see how the low ticket offer is a critical part of the core offering. Okay, so this is the first funnel. It's a low ticket offer with upsells behind it, where we're really trying to sort out people who are serious and who are prepared to invest and spend money today. And we're also doing it in order to liquidate ad spend. All right. The more that we can extract at that initial point of conversion, we can identify our hyperactive buyers, and the more ad spend that we can cover up front, which means that we can reinvest faster, means we can reinvest more faster and grow faster. And it just means we don't have to float this, big ad spend gap that most people with this type of model, this kind of higher ticket advice model do. That they'll typically not have a low ticket offer. They'll float thousands of dollars in ads trying to get people onto calls. And then eventually when they convert, it covers it, but they might be floating that gap for, days, weeks, potentially months if they're in that early startup phase. Okay, so this is a great one to have for a number of reasons. I'll link below the video I did that's a deep dive on this funnel and what you necessarily can't see on the front end here, so you can check this out. But this is definitely one that I would recommend you go and model and build. And the second type of funnel that I would recommend that you model and build is just a simple lead generation funnel. Okay, now where people go wrong with this, I think, is the lead magnet itself is usually not worth the time for people to go through it. Okay. And so the funnel is very, very simple. The funnel is, hey, do you want this free thing? Right. There's one little nuance to it that I want to show you behind the scenes in a second. But if people are going to go and enter their information and then actually invest time in something for free, there's still a cost to it. The cost is their time. Okay. And so if you're going to go and build a funnel like this, what I would recommend is that you see if we can get this camera to come back. Loom's lagging a little bit. I would recommend that you build a really, really robust lead magnet. Okay, so what you can see here when people opt in is they get a 25-page breakdown of my full model. And this links off to different trainings on how to use the different platforms, and there's SOPs and there's scripts and there's examples and there's templates, and it's one of the best lead magnets that I've ever had. It's one of the best ones that I've seen in the market. There's real-time examples. People can take this, serious people can take this and make money with it. And I know that because people have, and then they very quickly become a client. Okay. And so my advice is, if you're going to create this lead magnet funnel, don't half-ass the lead magnet. Make it worth people's time, because the more time people spend consuming once they get into this middle of funnel, whether it's a free asset, a paid asset, it doesn't matter. The quality of the middle of funnel content that they consume is going to significantly impact the pre-sale process, and then them ultimately becoming a client in your main offering. Okay. So very, very simple funnel, but we want to make sure that the asset that we're putting people into is worth their time. Okay. And so I'll link to this funnel below so you can go check it out. And I would recommend that you turn your method, your process, your system for helping people into a really, really robust lead magnet, just like this one. All right. So they're the two different funnels that I would encourage you to build. Okay. Now, what's really cool is if you build this in the right way, you can see here when someone comes to opt in, so they enter their email, we go through this verification process. Any other cars? Always get these wrong. Right? So they enter and they say it's on its way to your email. Now, here's what's cool. Remember that same low ticket funnel back here? We can integrate that on the thank you page of our lead magnet funnel. All right. So what this means is that we can have one core low ticket offer that's generating us buyers, and then we can spin out these free lead magnets that will also bring in leads, will also grow our list, but will ultimately move people back to that same core low ticket offer. Now that does a couple of things. One, it liquidates the ad spend on your lead generation funnels, which without that offer will otherwise be a cash suck and an amount that you have to float until that lead ultimately becomes a client, or a percentage of those leads ultimately become a client. It means that you can have one core low ticket offer that you focus on optimizing and that's really, really relevant to your core offer. And then you can just think about what are different skins, aka what are the different lead magnets that I can put in front of this in order to generate leads that maybe aren't immediately resonating with the low ticket offer. So you can essentially tap into a different part of your audience. And it means that you can, externally appear like you're running all these different funnels, but they're all coming back to one core low ticket offer and ultimately generating you buyers. And if you design the low ticket offer correctly, it's going to be really congruent to your core offering. Okay. Now, ultimately, through both of these funnels, people are going to end up on your email list. Once they're in your email list, that's where they're really, at least using this model, they're really embedded in your middle of funnel. Okay. From there, two other core elements are going to kick in. One is YouTube videos like you're watching right now, where you're actually creating helpful, valuable content to help people understand your way of thinking, understand your models, your frameworks, your systems. And then I would also recommend that you have remarketing ads kick in. So if you're running ads to grow these, or if you're doing content, now people are in your world, they're consuming your content. From there, I would recommend that you run remarketing ads that do two things. Three things really. They can bring people back to your content, right? So you could move them back to, they could re-opt in. You can give them content directly. You can give them videos. You can give them downloads. That's one thing. The second thing is that I would put time into really understanding what are their core questions and core objections. And I would answer those in your remarketing ads. You can either answer them in the written copy, or you can answer them through like a simple selfie style video. That's another option. And then the third is, now that they're in the middle of funnel, what's the next step, right? We want to get them into our main offer. And so start introducing that core offer. You can create ads that move them over to that offer depending on your sales process, but create a remarketing system, a remarketing engine that really, really indoctrinates people and starts to push them towards that next step. Okay, that wasn't kind of the core topic of this video, but I just wanted to touch on it because I know people will ask, okay, well, what do I do once I get the leads? They're the things you should be focusing on. Once they're on the list, it's about really nurturing that attention, building the depth, and then showing people, hey, now that you're here, here's the next step, right? So we get the traffic, we run them through these funnels to either turn them into a lead or turn them into a buyer. Then once they're in our middle of funnel, we want to get them to know us better and ultimately move them towards that next step. Okay, so I will put the video below with the deeper dive behind the scenes on that funnel, but I just wanted to answer this question around lead generation. These are the two funnels that I would recommend that you run at this point in time. And then once you've got those set up, you can run paid ads to them. You can plug them into all of your different social media platforms, and the content that you can create will ultimately flow towards them. And then as you kind of dial up this model or whatever model that you're running and word of mouth starts to kick in, those people will move in. And as your brand grows, you get out there and do podcasts and interviews, those people can move into the funnel. All right. This is the really key part, because you're actually capturing and owning the lead and buyer data, and you're not just waiting and relying on follower growth, subscriber growth, likes, all that kind of stuff. This is the key part to the lead generation system, because you own the information. You're giving people the opportunity to become a buyer or a hyperactive buyer very, 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 very quickly. And then you can kick in your middle of funnel engine there. Okay. Hopefully you found that helpful. I will see you all in the next video. Cheers.